Good morning, students, and hope you're all fine. The next section, that means which we are discussing is chemical reactions and equations, right? Yes. So last class, I told you about how to balance the equation and different types of equations, right? And what is chemical equation, I told you. What is chemical reaction, I told you. How to write the equation, I told you. How to balance the equation also has been taught for you. And under your types of equation, we had discussed about combination reaction in your last class, right? In your previous section. So, what is combination reaction is when two or more reactant reacting together to give you single product is combination reaction. Under that, I gave you many examples. And in your combination only, I told you about what is exothermic and endothermic reaction. In your chemical reaction, if heat is liberated, is nothing but called as exothermic. And in a chemical reaction where heat is absorbed is nothing but called as endothermic reaction, right? So now the next chemical reaction which we are going to discuss is, decomposition reaction. So under your decomposition reaction, that means what is the definition of decomposition reaction is, where decompose is nothing but called as splitting up or breakdown. Splitting up or breakdown of a substance is nothing but called as decomposition. I think you people would have heard about the word called decompose. See, when biodegradable substance gets completely decomposed in the soil is nothing but called as biodegradable substance, right? That gets completely destroyed or vanished in the soil is nothing but called as biodegradable substance. Decompose is nothing but whatever the substance which we have buried inside the soil will get broken down and they start moving towards the places, or it gets completely vanished inside the soil. So that is nothing but called as biodegradable substance. So here also the same thing. Decompose is nothing but called as breaking down or splitting up. That means in any chemical reaction, single reactant breaks down into, single reactant will break down into two or more product is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. That means when that means it is nothing but called as your reactant, a single reactant which I have written as A is broken down into two or more product. Not only two or more product, not only one, more than that it is being produced is nothing but your product. This reaction is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. In your combination, what happens actually in your combination, two or more reactants should be reacted to give you a single product. That will be for your combination. But under your decomposition reaction, single reactant only is being broken down into two or more product is nothing but called as your decomposition reaction. So in that way, where you can tell decomposition reaction is opposite of your combination reaction. Am I right? Why? Because there you have two or more reacting together to give you single product. But in decomposition, what is happening when single reactant is broken down into two or more product is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. I'll repeat the definition again. Decomposition reaction, in any chemical reaction, single reactant will be broken down into two or more product is nothing but called as your decomposition reaction. Under that, now whatever example which we give, now if I take H2O gives H2 plus O2. I'm not balance the equation. If I want to balance the equation, this is the equation, right? Yes, so you can see the single reactant, whatever the water molecule which has been there, it is getting split up into hydrogen and oxygen. It is splitting or it is breaking down into two or more products. Is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. Or if I take MgO, magnesium oxide, gives you magnesium plus oxygen. 2. Balance the equation. Got it? Magnesium oxide. See how the chemical reaction, what has been taken place. A single reactant is broken down into two or more product is nothing but called as your decomposition reaction. Is it clear, children? I have many other examples also where I can take. That is where CaCO3 will give me CaO plus CO2. I can take it in this way also. Even this is also where single reactant is broken down into two or more product is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. Okay, so under your decomposition reaction, see whatever the single reactant, based on it is been based on some reaction which has been taken place, will get been divided into two or more product. What is that? They have different name. See, a single reactant is broken down into two or more product is nothing but called as decomposition. To take this chemical reaction to be taken place, there is something which is required over there. So what is that? Based on that, the name of the chemical reaction under your decomposition, we have different types of decomposition reaction has been taken place. Based on your decomposition reaction, the single reactant only is getting divided into two or more product. Under that, we have different types based on what it has been happening. By that, we are going to determine the name of the thing, decomposition reaction. That is, we have thermal decomposition reaction, thermal decomposition reaction. Next is photochemical decomposition reaction. Next is electrolytic decomposition reaction. So based on why these names are differentiated in the sense, see the same decomposition reaction, if it takes place with the presence of thermal is nothing but called as heat. Thermal is nothing but called as heat. The same chemical reaction, if it takes place with the presence of heat, is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. A chemical reaction where single reactant is broken down into two or more product with the presence of heat is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. The name itself will define you, children. Thermal is nothing but called as heat. We know what is the definition for decomposition reaction, correct? So same thing, where a single reactant is going to break down with two or more product is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. So under this, we have, if I want to write an example for your thermal decomposition reaction, if I want to write an example for that is, where FeSO4, ferrous sulfate, on heating, it produces Fe2O3, ferric oxide, plus SO2 plus SO3, which has been taken place with the presence of heat, is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. What is happening? A single reactant only is getting broken down into two or more product. How it is being taken place? With the presence of heat, is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal is nothing but called as heat. Decomposition, as I repeated, when it takes place with the presence of heat, is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. Is it right? Okay. So I can give you few more examples also. And that is CaCO3. On heating, it gives you CaO, calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide is obtained. Single reactant is broken down into two or more product which takes place with the presence of heat is nothing but called as thermal decomposition. I'll take one more. PbNO3 whole 2 lead nitrate on heating produces PbO plus NO2 plus O2. The equation is not balanced. Balance the equation. So these three examples which is given in your textbook, that is ferric sulfate is on heating it produces ferric oxide plus sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide is obtained. Then calcium carbonate on your combination reaction what we have done. So take that calcium carbonate, on heating it produces lime or quicklime CaO plus carbon dioxide. Then if you take lead nitrate, so this based on this one, you have an experiment and based on the product they may ask you the question, children. So lead nitrate on heating it produces lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen has been produced. Now you can see whatever this nitrogen dioxide has been obtained, whatever the nitrogen dioxide gas which is liberated will be produces brown fumes. Brown fumes, nothing but take a test tube. I'm going to add potassium nitrate, lead nitrate, and if I start heating it, lead nitrate, and on heating you can see that there is a brown color fumes which has been evolving out of it. There is brown color fumes which is coming. The air which has been liberated out of it is nothing but called as NO2, brown color fumes. They may ask you a question on this. And the remaining, that is PBO, whatever it has been there, PBO, which remains as yellow color residue. So which remains as PBO will remain as yellow color residue. Residue in the sense unwanted waste material which is remaining during the experiment is nothing but called as residues. The unwanted material which is obtained during the experiment, that will be in yellow color in lead oxide. So that obtained is yellow color residue which is obtained, and oxygen we know when the inhalation of gas which has been taken place is nothing but called as your oxygen which has been obtained. Okay, but this chemical reaction has taken place with the presence of heat. So that is nothing but called as thermal decomposition reaction. Okay, so based on this lead nitrate, they may ask you the question, what is the product obtained and what is the gas which produces brown color fumes is nitrogen dioxide, and what is the yellow color residue which is obtained is lead oxide. Okay, yes, is it clear? Next, under your photochemical decomposition reaction, so same photo is nothing but called as, you people know what is a scientific word, what you can tell it? A common word, what do you tell? Photo is a scientific word, and what is a common word, what do you tell for photo is nothing but called as your light. So chemical reaction which takes place with the presence of sunlight is nothing but called as photochemical decomposition reaction. Same decomposition reaction where single reactant will break down into two or more with the presence of light is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. For example, for your photochemical decomposition is, example, AgBr, that is silver bromide, will produce silver plus bromide. AgBr gives you Ag plus Br2. That means which takes place with the presence of sunlight, children. That means how, I'll tell you. Take a dish, take a china dish or a petri dish, whatever it has been there, and take what is that, AgBr in this, which is going to remain as a white color powder. When it is exposed to a sunlight, you can see that whatever the silver which has been obtained, it remains in grey color. So this reaction takes place with the presence of sunlight. Actually, it was in white color. When it is exposed to sunlight, the chemical reaction which has been taken place, later you can see whatever the product which has been obtained will be grey color. Silver is obtained. It's nothing but called as your photochemical decomposition reaction. I can give you one more example also. AgCl2 gives you Ag plus Cl2. Okay, so AgCl2, a single reactant, is broken down into two or more product which takes place with the presence of sunlight. Don't worry about the chemical reaction which has been written. Okay, so what exactly happens here is AgCl, silver chloride, when it is when it is exposed to the sunlight, you can see there is a color change which has been obtained. So this AgCl, that is silver bromide, which is used in photographies and all. Photographies uses where you can tell, and this normally in your silver manufacturing and all where it has been used, when it is exposed to sunlight, it changes its color into grey color. Here you can see the positive pictures, whatever it has been taken place in photography, when it is washed with silver chloride, it gives you positive pictures of whatever the image which has been taken. So that is nothing but which is used in your photographies. Okay. So which a decomposition reaction which takes place with the presence of which takes place with the presence of light is nothing but called as photochemical decomposition reaction. Right? Yes. The next one is electrochemical decomposition reaction. So the next one is electrochemical decomposition reaction. So under your electrochemical decomposition reaction, you can see the name itself will define you. Other two I told you. Now you tell me this, what exactly takes place in your electrochemical. Electro is nothing but called as what? What? It takes place with the presence of electric current. If it takes place with the presence of electric current, is nothing but called as electrolytic decomposition reaction, a chemical reaction which takes place with the presence of electricity is nothing but called as electrolytic decomposition reaction. So under this here, what we can have an example here for electrolytic decomposition reaction is, so make a note of the definition, whatever I told you. Chemical reaction where a single reactant breaks down into two or more product with the presence of electric current is nothing but called as electrolytic decomposition reaction. Example for your electrolytic decomposition reaction is electrolysis of water. So electrolysis of water, what exactly happens in your electrolysis of water is where H2O will get split up into H2 plus O2. So which example which I gave you in your decomposition reaction only, same thing children, but it takes place with the presence of electric current. How does it take place? Now for your thermal decomposition reaction, I gave you an example. For photochemical also, I gave you an example of AgBr and AgCl. Like that, for electrolytic decomposition reaction, you have electrolysis of water. That where water molecule, whatever which is being present, when electricity is supplied to it, hydrogen and oxygen gases can be collected separately. So that is what is decomposition, which takes place with the presence of electric current. So here we have a diagram. Draw the diagram which is very important for your exam point of view. Take a mug. Then to a mug, take two holes. Make two holes to it. Fix a rubber cork to it. Fix a rubber cork to it. Make two holes and fix a rubber cork to it. To a rubber cork, a wire, and which is fixed with a 6-volt battery. Then to this rubber cork, we are going to fix a graphite rod, which is going to act as your cathode and anode. Which is going to act as your cathode and anode. And to this graphite rod, take a test tube, invert the test tube to the graphite rod. Okay, diagram is that's all. Now we are going to label this mug, plastic mug. Test tube, excuse me, graphite rod, and here it is your wire, and it is your 6-volt battery, and whatever experiment which we are doing, here it is only 6-volt battery which we are going to use. And I am going to label cathode and anode too. So this I am going to label that to be as anode and this to be as your cathode. and level of marking of your hydrogen and oxygen is important. Level of marking of hydrogen. Can you see the difference between the level of marking of your hydrogen and oxygen which has been there? I'll just tell you what is the marking which will represent. So this is what the diagram of your electrolysis of water. So what exactly happens in your electrolysis of water is, see, I'm going to take a water in the beaker. First, if I'm doing an experiment in the sense, I have to tell what is the materials which is required. So that is what which I have drawn. So what is the material which is required for the experimenters? Listen carefully. Electrolysis of water diagram is very important for your point of view. That is for 3 marks they may ask you. Okay, or 1 mark question based on the diagram they can ask you. I'll tell you what type of questions also you will have. So in your electrolysis of water, what exactly? Procedure wise, I'll tell you experiment wise what we do. As I told you, you have to write what is the material required. What are the material required is a plastic mug, a graphite rod and a test tube, and you have water and wire which is connected to 6-volt battery. I didn't write switch or key. Okay, so then I'm going to pour. Now, okay, this is all the materials which is required for the experiment. Now, what is the procedure to be written is, take a mug, make 2 holes to that mug and fix a rubber cork to this. For that rubber cork, I am going to fix a graphite rod which is going to act as my cathode and anode. Now I am going to invert the test tube. Why we have inverted the test tube? In the sense, whatever the gas which is being collected should not get liberated or should not get exposed to the atmosphere. To avoid that, or to collect the gas of hydrogen and oxygen, we have taken the inverted test tube. Why we have taken inverted test tube? In the sense, for what purpose we are doing experiment is to collect hydrogen and oxygen. If I leave out like that only, how will I collect the gas which is required? Right? To collect the gas of hydrogen and oxygen, I have taken inverted test tube to collect that gas. And now what exactly I have to do is, I am going to on the switch. Once the switch is on, once the electric current has been passed, the water on with the presence of graphite rod, the water molecules will get splitted up into hydrogen and oxygen. That means hydrogen will be collected towards your cathode and oxygen will be collected towards your anode. Here it is your hydrogen, here it is your oxygen. So what happens in your cathode when electricity is applied? You can see that the water molecules will get broken down, where hydrogen has been collected on towards your cathode and oxygen has been collected towards your anode. And in what ratio? What ratio in the sense? Why hydrogen gas collected should be more in the sense? You can see what is the molecular formula of your hydrogen is H2. So it is in the ratio of H2O. So it is in the ratio of 2:1, correct? So which is collected more? Hydrogen gas should be collected more compared to your oxygen. So the gas collected hydrogen is more compared to your oxygen. So this level of marking is very important. So here the gas collected is more in hydrogen towards your cathode, and here it is oxygen which is collected towards your anode. Ma'am, can I interchange? That means here I have marked more, ma'am, and here I have marked less in the sense. Not a problem. Towards your cathode it is hydrogen. Replace this. So here the gas collected is more in the sense that is nothing but called as your cathode. Here the gas collected less in the sense it is nothing but called as your anode. That's all. Towards your cathode only hydrogen gas is connected. So that thing you keep it in your mind. You can write towards which side it is more and towards which side it is less. Okay. So this is what is an experiment which is done in your electrolytic decomposition reaction. So the example is electrolysis of water. Whatever the procedure which we have taken, materials which is required, and what is the procedure? Once the switch is on, you can see the current flow is being taken place. Once the flow of current takes place, the water molecules will get split up into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen molecules moves towards cathode and oxygen starts moving towards your anode. and you can see that the ratio of hydrogen collected is more compared to your oxygen. Why? Because in your molecular formula of water only you can see that the ratio of hydrogen is more compared to your oxygen. For that reason only you can tell that hydrogen is collected more compared to your oxygen. So this is what which takes place in your electrolytic decomposition reaction. Okay, so in your decomposition reaction, I told you, I'm repeating again, in your decomposition reaction, a single reactant will break down into 2 or more product is nothing but called as decomposition reaction. Under your decomposition reaction, which takes place with the presence of heat, is thermal decomposition. Which takes place with the presence of light is photochemical decomposition. Which takes place with the presence of electric current is nothing but called as electrolytic decomposition reaction. For that I gave you many examples. If you have your textbook, please go through the textbooks, children. Okay, if not, in the sense whatever I told you will be okay, and draw this diagram also. I'll even give you an assignments, whatever it has been there, you can copy, draw the diagram. Okay, right now while explaining only, if you start drawing, it will be more easy to understand. Yes, so the next chemical reaction which I have to tell you. The next chemical reaction which we are going to discuss is, so now only one decomposition only we have discussed. Under your decomposition reaction we had many process. That means if it takes place with the presence of heat or if it takes place with the presence of light, by that it has been described, right? Now we have displacement reaction. Third one, displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. So what is displacement? The name itself will tell you, children, what is displacement in the sense displace, misplace. You would have heard a word called misplace. Instead of keeping that in this place, it has been kept in, it is misplaced. It has been kept in some other place like that. So displacement is nothing but a chemical reaction where high reactive element or more reactive element is being displaced by low reactive element or less reactive element. What is displacement reaction? In a chemical reaction, high reactive element is being displaced by low reactive element or more reactive element is being displaced by less reactive element is nothing but called as displacement reaction. So here example for your displacement, you will be more clear, children, if I give you an example. When if I take Fe plus CuSO4 gives a metal is reacting with a metal component. A metal is reacting with a metal component. See, only one if it has been present, it is metal, or whether it can be a non-metallic component. A metal or a non-metallic component is reacted with a compound, metallic compound, to give you FeSO4 plus Cu. If I take next Zn plus CuSO4 gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. If I take next Pb plus CuSO4, a metal with metal component gives you PbSO4 plus Cu. So what is common in this experiment is, what is common in this examples is, not experiment, in this example is, you can see is copper is liberated out of it. Copper is out of the chemical reaction, right? So copper is considered to be as your low reactive compared to your iron, zinc and lead. Copper is less reactive. This iron, zinc and lead, iron, zinc and lead is considered to be as high reactive. Or it is nothing but called as, what is that? More reactive. Here as I told you low, it is nothing but called as less reactive. You can take this two words also as well. Okay. So now how will you define a displacement reaction is? In this example, copper is low reactive. See, in your metals and non-metals, if you write a reactivity series, children, even I'll tell you in your metals and non-metals chapters when we are discussing, we will study more about displacement reaction, okay? But according to the example which is given in your displacement reaction, you can see that high reactive element has been displaced with low reactive, high reactive is displaced with low reactive, high reactive is displaced with low reactive element. So that is what is nothing but called as displacement reaction. What is displaced? High reactive element is being displaced with your low reactive element. It's nothing but called as displacement reaction. I'll repeat the chemical reaction again. A chemical reaction where high reactive element is being displaced by your low reactive element. So here Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. Zn plus CuSO4 gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. Pb plus CuSO4 gives PbSO4 plus Cu. So here copper is considered to be as your low reactive, and your remaining metal, whatever iron, zinc or Pb which we have taken, is considered to be as your high reactive. So copper is considered to be as low reactive, and here the remaining metal is considered to be as your high reactive. So high reactive element is being displaced by your low reactive element. So if you take ferrous sulfate, is being displaced by iron is displaced by ferrous sulfate. In the sense, this is an experiment where the iron which was in green color, when take a iron, okay, take a iron nail. Now if I take a test tube, inside this test tube I have a copper sulfate solution, CuSO4. I can take that in blue color, completely blue color, okay. So now I am going to take a iron nail which is going to dip it inside. See, iron nail has been dipped inside. You can see that this blue color will start fading. It fades its color into light blue color. It fades its color. Fades in the sense, you know, light color, blue color which is formed because it has displaced iron to copper. High reactive element has been displaced with. This is only with iron. Okay. So here what has happened? Here what has been obtained is it is replaced with ferrous sulfate. So you can see a color change which has been brought about. A displacement of color change has been brought about between the chemical reaction. I told only about this. Okay. So this reaction is nothing but called as displacement reaction. A color change has been brought about, or fading of the color. Whether if it is green in color, it can change it into blue color. So that color change also has been brought about. What color we have to get? Instead of that, we have got different color by displacing of the metallic component. We have got the different color during the experiments. So this chemical reaction is nothing but called as displacement. The name itself will tell you, children. But what exactly is displaced? High reactive element has been displaced by your low reactive element. Is nothing but called as your displacement reaction. So this is what the experiment, the examples which I have to tell you, I told. Okay. And in your last class in the sense in your first class, I told you some of the chemical reactions to be written, children. In your last class, I told some of the chemical reactions. Some of the chemical reactions I told, and I myself wrote it on the board. Okay, so where hydrogen is reacting with nitrogen, to give ammonia, NH3. Actually, this is the equation, but I wrote it, hydrogen is reacting with N3 to give you NH4. This is wrong, children, which I wrote you last time in your first section. That is wrong actually. Change the equation to be as hydrogen is reacting with nitrogen to form ammonia. This is ammonium. NH4 is ammonium. NH3 is nothing but called as ammonia. Okay, change that equation. Okay, that's all. If any other, that means still we have chemical reactions. Still different types of chemical reactions which has been there. Let me continue in your next section. And whatever doubts regarding which has been there according to the topics, please go through your textbook or repeat the video again. If not, in the sense, if you still have any more doubts in the sense, when you get your classwork or assignments for the correction, you can clarify your doubts, children. Right? Thank you. Be safe.